To look at Victor Frankenstein and his creature is to examine a dead man's tale, tracing a tragic descent from normal life into a mutual living hell. By mirroring the archetypes of Satan, Adam, and God, the story creates a landscape where both the creator and the created occupy the role of the adversary in unique ways. Victor begins as the story's godlike figure, yet his hubris causes a satanic like fall from his intellectual heaven, transforming his ambition into a private internal hell. This moral collapse dooms the creature. Though he is born as a blank slate Adam, seeking a father, Victor's immediate abandonment and later denial of an Eden deprive the creature of guidance and love, corrupts the creature's innocence, and forces him to shift from a hopeful Adam into a vengeful Satan. Ultimately, Victor's pride and the creature's misery merge, leaving both men to mirror each other's malice in a shared state of damnation. This microcosm of a shifting relationship, one where the creator's role remains static while the creation's role is forced to change, goes through the three biblical characters mentioned before. Victor as the creator, and symbolically he represents Satan as he falls from grace. The creature represents Adam, and after being forced to change, also represents Satan, and again Adam after he was marked by sin. Through the eyes of tomorrow, we can see how these characters change and draw from the biblical stories to better portray the characters' changes. And the malfeasance done by Victor mirrors the original sin, ensuring that both characters become the architects of each other's demise. Or the modern God gives a reason as to why this leads to their demise. The creature was made in his modern God's filthy type, all the more horrid due to his resemblance to human beings. Whereas the Bible as a whole communicates God's loving care for his creation, Frankenstein's Bible reveals the sense of horror that this modern God feels towards his Adam, saying, "Not even Satan was so solitary or detested." This communication between creator and creature that takes place within the world of the novel helps to lead to the three main biblical allusions mentioned earlier. And because he detests this creature, which fills him with horror, Victor isn't acting as a granddad or a protective ancestor. He acts as a man seeking to trump death and spite his rivals. He had no backup plans for a creature that could think and feel, and all he wanted to do was to be a creator. But he refused to be the navigator that his creation actually needed. There is a clear symmetry between Genesis's Adam and the creature. Both are firsts brought into existence without choice, made from the materials of the land, and are given no set path on where to go within their lives. They may share an origin, but those who created them are fundamentally different. While the biblical God seeks a relationship with his created being and makes him not out of spite but for a need for creatures to roam the earth, Victor creates to raise himself up to a platform of godhood with no plans to act as a faithful and loving creator. He only creates life because he can, not because he should. Without a caretaker to mediate his entry into existence, the creature is molded by a world of pain he cannot comprehend. Victor's actions and later fall is what leaves his creation to navigate the fall out of existence entirely alone. Deprived of the guidance a creator owes his subject, the creature's innocence is systematically dismantled, replaced by a demonic thirst for vengeance that mirrors the darkness of his origin. In this neglectful void, Victor assumes the role of the devil through his hubris, and the creation, left with no other model, is forced to follow him into the depths of malice. Victor's immediate stoicism and visceral abandonment of his duty force a violent shift in the being's development, replacing paternal guidance with a cold, systematic rejection. Oates states that the creature reads Milton's epic Paradise Lost not as a mere fiction but as a true history that offers a direct blueprint for his own suffering and identity. He initially identifies with Adam's profound exclusion from the rest of the world, yet he encounters nothing but breathless horror from this creator, eventually identifying with Satan's vengeful path. This transition from a hopeful first man to a discarded outcast leads to his iconic lament. Quote, "I ought to be thy Adam, but I am rather the fallen angel, whom thou drivest from joy for no misdeed." By denying him an Eden, Victor ensures that the creation's only means of engaging with humanity is through the same malice that his God used to discard him. When Victor denies the creature and Eve, the narrative shifts into a still hunt, a cold, relentless pursuit where the hunter and the prey become indistinguishable. This rejection marks the final death of the creature's hope for an Adam like existence, effectively sealing him in a state of permanent, vengeful isolation. By destroying the female companion, Victor ensures that the creature has no ties to the world other than his hatred for his maker. This creates a merciless cycle where the role of the creator and created are bound by a shared solitude, leading to a total deadlock between the two. In this state, neither can find peace nor escape. Victor is enslaved by the very being he sought to control, and the creature is anchored to a creator who refuses to love him. They become mirror images trapped in a frozen landscape where the pursuit itself is the only thing left to sustain their hollow, mutual existence. The descent of both creator and creation reaches its ultimate conclusion on the desolate Arctic ice, at Verity's frozen brow. In this barren wasteland, the subversion of the biblical archetypes reaches its peak, stripping away the last vestiges of Victor's perceived divinity and the creature's lingering humanity. The still hunt that drove them across the continents ends here, not in a moment of triumph, but in a cold, hollow silence that exposes the true cost of Victor's hubris. At this frozen precipice, the creature's final cry, quote, "I remembered Adam's supplication to his creator, but where was mine?" serves as the ultimate proof of Victor's catastrophic failure. By denying his creature even the basic mercy afforded to the biblical Adam, Victor ensures that the only truth remaining at the world's end is a total deadlock of misery. Here, the roles of God and Adam are entirely dismantled, leaving only two fallen beings to face the wreckage of a cycle of revenge that has finally run its course. Victor's fall serves as the narrative's true satanic descent, a catastrophic trajectory pushed forward by his sin of intellectual hubris that rebels against the fundamental boundaries of nature. This obsessive and solitary pursuit of forbidden knowledge creates an internal hell of guilt and paranoia that predates any act of violence by his creation. Victor is a fallen figure the moment his dream is realized and instantly discarded in a fit of visceral revulsion. Because he defaults on his role as a caretaker and abandons his parental duty, the creature is thrust into the depths of a world that offers no sanctuary or moral framework. Left entirely alone to navigate an existence he did not ask for. Consequentially, the being is haunted by the phantasm of a human connection that remains perpetually out of reach, a ghost of a life that Victor's original pride has rendered impossible to achieve. This void of guidance ensures that the creature's initial innocence is gradually eroded by the cold reality of his exclusion, forcing him to mirror the very darkness that his creator first harbored in his own heart. This abandonment forces a shift in the creature's identity. Though he possesses the hidden potential of a Blake Slate atom, the rejection by his god denies him any path towards benevolence. In the absence of a moral compass or protective creator, the creature is left with no choice but to adopt Victor's own growing malice, effectively mirroring the very darkness that birthed him. The transformation into a vengeful satanic archetype is not an inherent trait, but a reactive one, a survival mechanism born from systematic exclusion. Ultimately, this cycle ensures that the architect and his offspring are locked in a mutual descent, perishing together at the world's frozen brow in a self made hell where the creator's pride and the creature's suffering become indistinguishable. Ultimately, the cycle of vengeance between Victor and the creature mirrors a dark reflection of the final shape, where their mutual obsession strips away every human quality until only a primal destructive hunger remains. In this shared deadlock, they realize the horrific truth of their connection. To Victor, the creature is a demonic manifestation of his own guilt. To the creature, Victor is a negligent god who has cursed him with life only to deny him love. Yet, to the rest of the world, they are both agents of destruction, leaving only ruin in their wake. Victor's hubris and the creature's malice become a devourer of their own souls, ensuring that they will perish as twin evils, two hollowed out beings bound by a winnower's cold logic and a self made hell. By the time they reach the Arctic, they have no time to explain why they hate each other, as their identities have been entirely consumed by the pursuit. Mary Shelley masterfully crafts a story where the pursuit of the divine leads directly to a descent into the depths. By portraying Victor as a man who attempts to seize the powers of a god, she illustrates an Icarus like hubris where the divine sparks of life serves only as a way to burn away his humanity. This intellectual flight too close to the sun leaves Victor a broken shell, forced to navigate the haze of his own guilt while being pursued by the enforcer of his own creation. Shelley's genius lies in showing that when a creator abandons his duty, he doesn't just lose his status, he becomes a hollowed out soul trapped in the struggle for survival against the very nightmare he birthed. It is a haunting exploration of how the ultimate triumph of science can become a final and escapable fall into a self made hell.